Welcome to Salt, Sage and Stardust, the podcast where spirit meets real life and intuition leads the way. Every episode, your hosts, Dr. Vicki Haspels and Keryn Rose, dive into the energy of what's shifting in the cosmos, in the collective, and within ourselves. Here we are. We're back. Hi, Vicki.
Hi, Keryn. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm still a little bit cold, but hey, the sun shines. And when the sun shines and I'm cold, somehow I can manage it better. It's just weird. I'm a little weird that way. Hey, welcome. I'm going to say welcome back. It is kind of welcoming back.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited to get our podcast it's Salt, Sage and Stardust. I said Sage. No, Keryn, it's Salt, Sage and Stardust, which it's a title that I love.
Yeah.
The state that the world is in at the moment is really asking us to anchor into Mother Earth, ground ourselves, literally root ourselves into Mother Earth so we can be anchored and strong in the moment, so we can weather all the storms. That sage bit is appreciate, acknowledge, embrace the wisdom that is within us as a human being, because we are an extension of a greater source. Whether you believe that or not, we simply are full of divine magic. I mean, how the hell does an egg and a sperm come together, create this human being without any professor, teacher, doctor wiggling a finger and saying, this is where you've got to go sell, and this is where it all happens.
Yes.
What is that if it's not divine wisdom?
Yeah.
And that is what runs through us. So it's a case of, hey, wake up, remember that? Then the stardust is, oh my God, we are made of the same stuff as stars. Is that not just mind-blowing? Is that not, again, this all-encompassing, there's so much more out there.
Yeah.
So to reconnect with all of that in each moment that we're here, particularly in the playground is what I call it, of the world, because we get to walk outside our door and go, OMG, what's going on? And it's a case of the question we ask ourselves is, how can I manage this? Because we can't change what is going on in the world, but we can change how we see it and therefore how we flow. So welcome to Salt, Sage and Stardust, Vicki, and I'm so glad that you've pulled your boat up next to mine and we're going to be having a damn fine conversation, complete with little cups of tea at the moment to warm me up. So what would you like to chat about today, Vicki? What do you feel is flowing through your little river to go, this is what I'm going to be sharing today?
Because so much information is coming at us at the moment and we're being influenced by so many external sources that we have, I guess, been trained to listen to or captured, I would say, more than likely, a better description, is that what it means to be awake in ourselves. What is it, who we are, connecting with who we are. And I like the idea of, and we talked about this, it's like an awakening, if you like, but what does that awakening mean in oneself? And how do we know that we are awake to ourselves or connected to ourselves? What does that mean, that we are being influenced by something that actually matters to us?
It's a very spiritual term, isn't it? Awakening.
Yes, it is. Awakening is a very spiritual term, and if we wanted to, it's like, I guess it's like a sense of self-awareness, because that more often than not, and it'll come as a very slow awareness that something has changed, but there will always be a tipping point or a pivot point where all of a sudden we think, well, hang on, that's not quite what I think about or feel about anymore. That feels different. I feel different. And so with that evolution of who we are, but we're actually coming more back to ourselves. We are stripping back the things that we put in place so that we could survive in the world, and we don't need them anymore. We're coming back to who we are. We're reconnecting to that true inner self or inner person that we are.
Do
And
you
so,
believe that is a process that is ongoing until we take our last breath? Or is
yes,
it a you've opened the door and that's it?
no, it is something, and I feel that because the our inner world, let's call it our soul, or the inner process that happens, we build it up lifetimes, and as children, we build up those little layers to keep us safe. What's made sense to us at the time. And as we evolve as adults and walk through our life, those layers begin to slough away, if you like, or wear away, because we realise that, hang on, that's not us, and I don't need that anymore. That tool, I can discard that tool now because I know who I am in this space, and that doesn't suit me anymore. And so we're becoming we are becoming closer to who we are. That never changes because those layers will only show themselves when we are ready, when we're safe and ready to let them go. We might be 100 years old and something will pop up and we go, oh yeah, I, I'm ready to let that be. I'm actually this person now. To the day we die, those things happen. I was just as an example, I was talking to somebody yesterday about they thought that they had experienced this and gone through this whole thing and they had an understanding of themselves, and all of a sudden something that we had talked about a couple of weeks ago it started to shift and change in them, and they thought, I went through this whole healing process again, and now I have a different understanding about what I thought had been finished and completed over here, that I had healed and let go. And so, with that, the burden of something they had been carrying that they didn't know or didn't remember that it was there was actually lifted again, and they felt lighter and lighter. It's just something that, if it's an unconscious thing that we carry around with us, and if we don't know that, that's not a fault. It's not it's a feature. Those things are features until we no longer need to carry that mask or that behavior or that belief.
Yeah.
It's a feature until it becomes a bug. And then what?
Welcome to the playground that is the world.
Life.
We
Yeah.
don't know what we don't know.
We don't know. Yeah.
I can remember when I was recovering from my cancer surgery, and my father asked me, he said, well, you're strong. He said, you can work through the pain. And I said, well, I don't know what the pain is until I move. Then in that movement, I have an idea of what the pain levels are.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, and again, welcome to life. We set up what I call a playground because I like to see the world as inviting me to engage in activity. And it's in the engagement of an activity that allows me to see, hear, feel, know what I'm capable of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we can play it safe and think, yep, we've got this. And indeed we do. And then, to use a business term, stepping outside your comfort zone,
Yeah.
it challenges you. Now, the interesting thing, if you think of little kids when they're starting to move, ideally, children start to crawl before they walk because it's creating a process in the brain that engages certain things. But the child is not analyzing all this. Within them is an awareness or a knowing, to use my language, that, okay, I'm going to start to crawl. And then when the time is right for them, and who knows what it is, as parents, we can hang out for our child to take their first steps. They'll do it when they're bloody well ready to do it.
Yeah.
Just full stop. I was almost 2 before I simply got up and walked
Mm.
because I was able to get around on my little ass on the linoleum floor in the old house.
Yeah.
So why get up and walk? And then when I did, it was up and I was off.
Yeah.
we create our space in which we do our learning. And I have learnt over the years there are some things you can't make happen. And when I say make, to disconnect from that sage wisdom that is within, engage the head. And again, I think back to falling pregnant, and it was going to be clinical. We knew the physical act and why wasn't it happening, and everything was quite clinical. And there was a process. We had to do it at this stage, and I had to be this old, and you know what? It wasn't working.
Mm.
As soon as all that was thrown out, we went through all the tests, but as soon as that was thrown out, of course you knew what happened. It happened. And, and I can still remember my husband at the time just going, "What?" And I was laughing, going, "Oh, of course, of course." That divine wisdom that is within us
Yeah.
simply knows. So to try and set up an awakening, it's a case of something is going to happen.
Yeah.
Look, the epiphanies I'm getting now that my father has physically left this incarnation. OMG. They are absolutely taking me by surprise. And I'm saying to myself, I thought I knew him.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. I knew him to a point. Something has shifted, opened up a doorway, actually it's blown bloody ceiling off. And you think, wow,
Yeah.
okay. And again, welcome to the world. At the moment, the world is what it is. And we are choosing to react or respond how we are choosing to, because the world is not out to get us. It's creating space for us to go and do our learning. And the learning can be really sucky.
Mm.
It can. But that, oh, how exciting. Learning to me, I love learning. I love learning because it allows me to, it creates the space for me to go, wow, and experience things that I'm totally unaware of.
Yeah. It opens up that. It's like a perception shift.
Look,
And
absolutely, absolutely.
just
It's, and
by minimal degrees, a perception shift can change the whole world. Mm.
well, if you think of a rocket being launched to the moon,
Mm.
if its trajectory is not accurate down to that smallest measurement, it's going to miss the moon
Mm.
because as it leaves further and further and further, that angle becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and it misses it by a friggin'
Yeah.
mile and a half.
Yeah.
It just doesn't get there. It's that calculation
Yeah.
is necessary to go from point A to point B. If we trust that every decision that we make is part of our trajectory and we can course correct as we go through life,
Yeah.
it's a wonderful thing. Something has just come up to me that I would
Yeah.
like to put to you. When we are talking and using the word awakening,
Yeah.
are we talking from a spiritual perspective?
Hmm.
Because I just had a vision as I was talking to you
Mm.
of children sitting in a classroom. Now, are they part of an awakening
Mm-hmm.
as they are opening up to information that is out
Mm-hmm.
there and
Mm-hmm.
acceptance of being fed? And I would say yes. The
Yeah.
moment
Mm.
that a child is starting to be created within a mother's womb, they are absorbing information. They are conscious of what is going on. A newborn seeks
Mm.
out the voice that belongs to to the person that carried it for so long, because it's that point of connection. But that learning, I think of my grandson and he's supposedly on school holidays and he still says to his mother, "But I want to do schoolwork." He loves his learning. Is that part of an awakening?
Yeah. I like to think. I like. I was listening to your words and just feeling into them. It makes me. It's much like, I don't know if you've ever read a book and thought, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. It's blown my mind open," and you have a shift. an awakening. And that changes your perception of the world. It filters some of the things you might let go and some of the things you'll keep because you put them into practice, to try them out. And then you might go back to that book a couple of years later, and the things that you read, there'll be something else, one word or one phrase that shifts everything again. It's the same book, the same wisdom, but because you're in a different place of and time and experience, that's when the next level of awakening happens, or that perception shift happens. So the timing that you're talking about, the time that it takes, and the level of practicality, walking it in the world, testing it out, seeing what works for us. It might make sense, but is it for us? Do we need to adjust it to match who we are? So as we learn something and something opens up inside of us, we then take that as the baseline and create from that understanding our world from that point of view, or that one point or that leap. That's what, and we do that, as you mentioned, right from birth, right in the womb.
Yeah. It's that
Something,
laying down of
yes,
many types of wisdom and understanding.
yeah,
And maybe when, excuse me, maybe when we're little, the big people's understanding is the teaching of information and
yeah,
the learning of information. However, the children come in so wise already. There's simply a knowing within them. They know who they want to be with, they know who
yeah,
they don't want to be with, which for me is still a life lesson.
yeah,
And it is that, the Sarah Lee effect. Back in the day, there was that ad, layer upon layer upon layer. It was a Sarah Lee dessert. And it is that layering.
yeah,
And it's understanding that the layers are there and pertinent to the time we're in.
yeah,
And we can get to a point, a bit like clothes in a wardrobe. The
yeah,
clothes that I wore back in the 70s, I'm still may love, but I can guarantee I don't fit into them. So I have a choice. Do I keep them,
mm-hmm,
or do I move them on and share them, pay it forward, share them
mm-hmm,
with somebody that can
mm-hmm,
fit into them and bring them to life? So I'm not sitting in a memory. I've created space for me to make new memories.
yeah, yeah,
Now, are the 70s coming back? Well, kind of. But I'll need to size it so it fits me. But it's that everything absolutely is circular,
yeah,
but it's acknowledging right here, right now is time specific to everybody that is here.
yeah, yeah,
And if we keep doing what we've always done, we'll keep getting what we've always got.
yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Einstein. It's how we work. And to be brave enough to be open to the next, what I would refer to as an aha moment,
yeah,
which is a point of clarity,
yeah,
consciousness. If you want to call it awakening, you can. It's a process. I suddenly go, oh, wow.
yeah,
It's those moments of light bulb going off, and you think,
yeah,
wow, and suddenly everything else looks
yeah.
different because of that one moment.
Moment. I wanted to I wanted to go back to a point of your when you were talking earlier about the timing, and when we realise that something is different, and that awakening moment, or that point, it took me right back to a time when, and again, I see this. I'm going to talk about my experience, and I'm going to talk about when I work with my clients. I get to observe somebody going through the process as well. I'm not perfect, by the way, but I can observe it,
Thank
and
God, you'd be so boring if you
I
weren't.
know, wouldn't it be boring?
I love the imperfections. Give me the imperfections any day. They just glitter.
When I think this was one of my awakenings, and it was quite harsh. I developed panic attacks in my mid-20s, and the realization that I was having panic attacks was I went to my mum, who was a nurse, and I said, I'm having these symptoms. What's going on? And she said, oh, you're hyperventilating. I thought, oh, good. I know what to do with that because I've watched TV. You blow into a paper bag, right? And I thought, well, I thought I had it. I thought I understood this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having the hyperventilating. Nobody said panic attacks. Nothing about psychological issues or trauma that was coming up. Well, I'm hyperventilating. I got it. Right. I can fix that. And so with that, of course, the paper bag thing didn't help. And so I marched full blown into my awakening, and it was horrible. But sometimes it can be a lovely thing where you can read a book, and sometimes it can be something really put you on your knees, on your bare bones. Horrible. But you stick with it because you're worth it. I'm actually getting a bit emotional talking about it, actually. But that when you can, when you're that raw, waking up or realizing that something is changing, sometimes we're taken right to the wall where we're stripped bare. We cannot live that way anymore. And our whole self is saying, you know what, I'm taking over now. Whether it's a soul thing, whether it's the mind thing, I'm taking over now and stripping all this back. It has to be done. And so being able to well, I survived it. I can't even tell you. I wasn't even aware of anything spiritual or helpful or anything like that back in those days, because as far as I was concerned, anyone who did what I did were tree hugging hippies, and I didn't want anything to do with that. So, but but that was a moment.
You're aging yourself, young lady,
Yeah.
and
That
doing
was,
it beautifully, may I say.
but that was a moment that you that your conversation took me to, that where I was broken open, and of course everything once I broke, all of the things that I needed to do to help support me through that process, of course, came flooding in. And it wasn't a matter of, oh, I just allowed it or I lent into it. I was literally broken. That's one example. What I've observed since then with myself and also with the people that I work with is they'll come to me, oh, I understand this. I know this about myself now. Look, I got this epiphany. I got the way. I pulled some cards and it's this. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's fine. What are you going to do with that? You know, I don't say that to them. I listen and I guide and I encourage them. That's an awakening. Much like my trying to do the hyperventilating in the paper bag, I was trying to control something that my soul was saying, well, this is just the beginning. This is the cracking open. What's coming next?
And
And that,
therein, for me, lies that idea of head versus heart.
yes, yeah,
The head ego jumps in, I know what to do,
100%. Yeah.
where it's almost counterintuitive. So when you find yourself in that space of, oh my God, what do I do? That's kind of, for me, the question to ask. What is the next right and perfect thing
Mm,
for
mm,
me to do? And we do live in a world where we are taught to give away our power to source external help
yeah.
for everything. And I am not here saying that the external help, all those services, are not needed. They absolutely are. We are part of a community. We are the human
Mm,
kind. This humanity is an organism made up of billions of bits, and every bit plays its part. However, I'm on a mission, and I'd love you to join me through this podcast to say to people, hey, the answers are within you, and the answers lie in the questions.
yes.
But you came in. I mean, think about it. You came in with all the answers to all the questions you're ever going to ask, and you can go, well, how do I know what I'm going to? You're made of stardust. This is this trust. Know
Mm.
that you know exactly what you need to do in any given moment. And it might be reach out to a friend, it might be take yourself to the ED. One of the questions I have guided myself to ask, because my heart can have some physical issues. Historically, I carry issues in the heart. People in my family dropped dead from heart attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had one little incident that put me in hospital, and it talk about a waking process. That was when I decided I knew I needed to leave my
Yeah.
marriage of 31 years. So I'm conscious that my heart, as a physical part of my overall being, I benefit from staying in touch with. And I know when it's feeling a little, well, it's knocking on my door and going, hey, honey, how you doing? I'm going, okay, I feel you. And I will take 2 or 3 deep breaths and ask myself deep within, would I benefit from some external help here?
Mm.
I know that myself knows that
Yeah.
if I need to call an ambulance, I will.
Yeah.
Typically for me, it's emotional energy because I'm an incredibly emotional soul. So I go, okay, I get a no to the external help. Okay, would I benefit from some energy healing? And if I get a yes, I then ask, am I in a space to do it? Am I capable of doing it? And at the moment, I've always gotten a yes, you are in that space. So I will go and sit down and I will do a little energy healing and release the charge, because emotions are simply energy in motion,
Mm.
emotion.
Yeah.
And they carry electricity, they
Yeah.
carry power. And my heart is simply a circuitry driven organ. And I don't want to overload the circuits.
Yeah.
And I know that I can. And I'm happy and I'm very comfortable in acknowledging that I have the answers, but they do lie in the questions. And I wish the children were taught to ask questions, to access the answers. This is what lawyers do.
Yeah.
They craft
Yeah.
the question to get the information, what I'm going to call the answer,
Yeah.
to whatever they're seeking.
Yeah.
We have that same
Yeah.
ability, and it's mind blowing for me.
Yeah.
I find it mind blowing.
I was just going to jump in there and say a very wise teacher of mine once said years and years ago, we have the answers inside us. What we're searching for is the question to unlock it. Now you reminded me
Yeah,
of that saying. That's
yeah,
exactly what you've said. Is that we carry the answers.
yes.
People think we're looking for the answers to things. We're actually looking for the question to unlock the answer. Yeah.
It's such a simple change, but
Mm.
talking about an aha moment, when I heard a beautiful um, mentor of mine say, Keryn, the answers lie in the questions.
Yes.
And I have forever been saying to people, the answers lie within you.
Yeah.
You have the answers within you. But I was missing that extra bit. What's your question?
What's your question?
Question.
Yeah.
And I'm forever encouraging the gorgeous souls that I work with to ask themselves a question that is going to guide them to the answers that they're
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah.
We're sick, I'll make a doctor's appointment. That's taking an action. I'll go, hey, whoa, you still may end up there.
Yeah.
Take 2 or 3 deep breaths, center yourself, and ask what is it. You might be told, go to bed.
Yeah.
Oh, but I can't. Well, all right. I believe everything is possible, but tell
Mm.
yourself you can't, and you can't.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we are pure magic on 2 legs.
Yeah. 100%.
And I just reckon that you and I are going to have so much fun reminding people of that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
We're here talking about awakening. I'm going to say, hey guys, little aha moments are part of this
Mm.
opening up process, a part. It's kind of like as soon as we're born, gosh, my father used to say, the moment you're born, you're on your process of dying. And I just go, really? Hello? Am I allowed to get out there and enjoy the sunshine? What a, but that was the way he lived his life, and you can see it. I can see it looking back.
Mm.
It lacked that sunshine
Yeah.
and that magic
Yeah.
that we wake up to every day.
Yeah.
And how are we going to see it? What are we going to do with that magic?
I like to add and remind everybody that we have our own personal cues about when things are shifting and when things are not okay. Not everyone has the same.
Oh, absolutely. Please embrace your uniqueness.
Yeah, so start working out what your cue is. And I was actually because I was going to ask you how, but you beautifully mentioned how you know when something is needing to be searching for that question. You know, you have
Like,
your cue,
not all the time.
but
I can be stubborn
yeah,
and disconnected.
but you'll still get there, even though we're stubborn.
Look,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
I
I'm the
might be hit
same. I
by
can be,
a
oh,
fleet of Mack trucks, but yes, I'll get there.
yes, I'm the worst. But I like to think that I'm getting less and less stubborn as time goes on because I can't be bothered with this fight. But
Yeah,
for me, my cue is that my thoughts get muddled. My I go to do something and it doesn't make any sense. So it's like I'm off track that way. My when my thoughts get too muddled, then my emotions spill over,
yeah,
and that is like the um, it's not the beginning or the cue. That is like, oh, I've gone too far when my emotions are spilling
yeah,
over.
yeah.
My first understanding is that my thoughts start to get fuzzy. Some things don't make any sense, and it stops me in my tracks. And I would say that the first port of call, if we're looking at, well, when is this change? When should I be asking a question, or and you start listening to what your cues are? What is it that stops you in your tracks even for a moment, and thinks, oh, what was I doing? Where was I? This doesn't feel okay.
Yeah.
Don't rush over it. You just take
And
that.
for me, it
Yeah,
is about the feels,
yeah,
because your essence, what I refer to as your essence, that divine part of you,
mm,
exists in your sacred heart space, which I place in the physical heart space
mm,
area. But I I feel that the timing of our podcast, Salt, Sage, and Stardust, is crucial because of the shifts that are going on
the world.
in our world.
Mm,
I
yeah,
mean, Gemini has, try again, Keryn. Uranus has now moved into Gemini. Did that
yeah,
Monday this week. So Uranus is called by many as the Great Awakener.
mm,
When Uranus is in the room, anything can happen and probably will, and it'll absolutely catch you unawares. And
yeah,
Gemini is that beautiful zodiac sign of thought process,
yeah,
of communication. So suddenly, our thought process can be absolutely thrown into a turbocharged environment.
yeah,
Now, how does one quieten that? Well, hello there, gorgeous heart of mine. The heart doesn't think, the heart simply knows.
yeah,
And it's people are going truly to survive moving forward. You need to have a strong process that connects you to yourself,
yes,
that you are so connected to yourself that you can go, hey, I've had enough of this shopping centre. I've got to leave,
mm-hmm,
because you can feel there is an awareness within you of all the energy that's around you. And you have a choice. We've always got a choice. What's the right and perfect thing for me to do right
mm,
now? Chances are it's leave. There may be people in your world that you've gotten to a point where you go, it is no longer good for me.
Yeah.
There is no benefit for me.
Mm.
It's seeing the world from how does it benefit you right here, right now. And I'm not talking from a self centered perspective, I am talking about a self hearted
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
It's got to work for you every day. I water my garden irrespective of what state the plants are in because I know that the water in the soil is necessary for the plants to do their process. It's not waiting until the shit has broken
Mm.
for you to go, oh, now I need to do something about it. No,
Yeah.
it's tending, it's looking after yourself that it strengthens us to manage and respond to the outside world as opposed to reacting to the outside
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. I think the my feeling like the outside world is creeping in so like not I want to say sneakily it is it's like a it captures you before you realize that you've been captured.
If
And
we
so
allow it,
if
if
but
we allow it.
and I think that but I also think that there are certain ways that um it captures us, and then that we're allowing it because that's who we are. That layer that we are ready to shift, it comes in, and there comes a certain point where we think, hang on, this is actually dragging me into something that isn't me.
Yep, there's your awareness. Yep.
That's your awareness. And I think that sometimes the ugliness that's out there that starts to seep in, and all of a sudden we have a moment where we can choose the easy, which is sink into that despair or that hate or whatever it is that um, is has been creeping in, or we think, well, hang on, do I really feel like that? How I think I've changed because it crept in because that was something that you were used to,
Yep.
that you grew up with, you were conditioned. It's an unconscious sort of thing that awakening is that point that says, I'm not this person anymore. And so the I want to call it is a bit of a fight. But we fight for ourselves rather than getting washed away with that captures us. And I want us to look the way the world has been built, created as it is now. It's been built to capture us. Everything that we've been trained to do, like social media, the way the news cycle runs, the way people are talking, the way people are polarizing. I know it's happened all of my life, but I feel much more intense now. So to be this self aware of who we are, we can still ride that wave. We'll still get captured a little bit, but by knowing who we are, there'll come a time or a point that you'll say, hang on, no, I'm choosing me. I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing community. I'm choosing the ground. I'm choosing grounding. I'm choosing reality and not get washed away with all of that hype. And that way, I don't know, it's like I can see it in my mind, so I'm going to try and describe it. It's the reality of the world can continue as it does. Where we need to help or participate, we will participate. And where we need to look after ourselves, we can step away and say, well, that's not for me. Thank you very much. It was me, but now it's not. Leaving behind people that we knew or know, sometimes even relationships that have been going on for years and years, tens of years, old friends. It's about this is my reality now. This is who I am, and I'm going to honour that and not go with the herd. I'll go with a different herd.
And look, it really is a growing process.
It
We,
is, yeah.
we do outgrow
Yeah,
things, everything. Music we like, people we like, clothes we like, styles we like,
yeah,
books we like, food we like. and it's just not me anymore.
No.
There's no right or wrong. Everything is right and perfect in that right and perfect moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can see you've got your cards there.
Yeah.
Um, what is the intent of you pulling a card for this episode?
I think I'd like to bring a, um, let's call it something to, it feels to me like a healing moment or a meditation moment, as in consider this point of view, or consider this moment of what this card is, the message of this card is bringing.
Okay.
Does this reach you? Does this make you angry? Does this make you sad? Does this make you happy? Is it challenging you, or is it neutral? And so I think the card is like going to bring uh, let's bring it back to what your cue is, what your personal cue is. If you are feeling, a reaction, that's your cue. Where are you feeling in your body? You're starting to feel into yourself. So the message, I feel, is going to create a moment of, oh, I feel that.
Okay.
I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm joyful, whatever that is. Let's see what we got. Oh, we got the star card.
So what's that mean?
So the star card, I'm going to talk about the story. This is the story of Pandora's box. So to
Hello.
know,
That's what we've been talking about.
exactly. So traditionally, the star card is about hope. You know, that it's not so much that all is not lost. It's more so we can still see a future. We can still see something. We don't know the how just yet, but
The how is
because we
never
can
up to us.
never,
It's
because
never.
we can
Trust
see
me.
it, there's still hope.
Trust in the process. Yep.
Yes.
And beautiful card for
Yes. The
now.
story of Pandora's box is, of course, all the ills of the world are now exposed.
Yep. And
The star
everybody has
hope.
within them the
Yeah.
ability to manage and move forward, and do
Yeah.
not lose hope.
Mm.
Do
Look for
not
your
lose hope.
star. What is your hope? Yes, it's all out there. Yes, it's affecting us. But what is it that you want for yourself? So, with that message, how do you feel about that? Do you feel hopeless? Do you feel hopeful? Does that think, oh, what is my hope? What is it that I want for myself? So, meditate on that message and that meaning and see what that feels for you. You might want to say, oh, run away, get away from me, Vicki. I don't want to think about that. That might challenge you in some way. Well, what does that challenge mean? Where is that? What does that mean for you?
Yep.
Challenge your challenge. Go into it.
So you're asking people to,
Question.
we're inviting people to have hope for the
Yes.
future,
Yes.
and to trust in that there is a future,
Yes.
and what does their future look like. So
Yes.
what is it that they are dreaming of,
Yeah.
for their future?
Yeah. There's something in that card that really feels like I'm challenging something as well. There's something
So
about that.
that's for you.
Yeah. I feel
Yep.
like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that. Uh, to consider, like, hope. Yes. What is your hope? What is your dream? What is it that you can see beyond all of this stuff that's going on? But sometimes people want to wallow in the drama of it or the sadness of it. And if I said to you, what is it that you're aiming for? What is it that you can see for your future? And I go, well, that's just a waste of time. That's just stardust, right? That's your dreaming. That's just you. And so there is something about that. And it might be that people are coming across individuals in their life or situations in their life that are challenging and want to tear down their hope. I'm thinking that's where that's coming from. Not so much that anyone who's listening or watching this is thinking, oh, I want to challenge that, but more so if you're aiming for something that gives you hope and joy, who's pushing back on that in your life? Do you want to keep that person around you or that situation around you that wants to crush your hope and your joy? I just feel that there's something about challenging that. So that might be that what you're looking out for in that moment.
Okay,
So, that's my TED. That's my TED talk.
thank you. Well, I'm going to add a little addendum and say, in my world, nobody has the ability to take away the energy of your dreams.
Mm.
So, from my perspective, everybody, children naturally dream. It's the world they live in. They will live in a world of magic
Yes.
because they've come from a world of magic, and until their brain starts to kick in, they they only know magic. And as big people, as big kids, that card for me is reminding people that they have the power to dream and to hope,
Yes.
and that
Mm.
there is nothing and no one that can take that away unless we allow it. So, therefore, if we feel or see that there is something, someone in that way, what can we do about it? Because it's owning that dream is mine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And oh, okay, there's I can see something in the way.
Mm.
Am I going to allow that to stop me because I have the power to choose how I see the world? Or am I going to not even see it as an obstacle anymore?
Mm.
Because that's my dream. That's my hope.
Yep.
That's how I see it. And I'm all for reminding people
Mm.
nobody and nothing does anything to you.
Yep. Yep.
And that can be hard. But once you realize that, you go, hang on, the power sits with me.
Yep.
I've got the talkie stick. I'm talking. It's mine.
Yep.
What do I, again, question?
Mm.
What's
Mm.
that right and perfect thing for me to do right now
Yep.
that can help me uncreate that obstacle? Because we create the obstacles.
Yep.
And given we create them, we can uncreate them.
Mm.
But are we ballsy enough? And that's the world is asking us to stand up as
Yep.
who we are, embrace who we are, and trust that when we're in that energy, our world flows with such ease and grace. Yes, people are going to be leaving your table, as I
Mm.
call it, and then
Mm.
the chairs are empty for others, for new people to come in,
Yep.
those right and perfect people.
Yep.
We're not here to do it alone, but oh my goodness, we do know what we're here to do. And,
Yeah.
welcome to
Yeah.
Salt, Sage and Stardust. We are here to help you remember
Yeah.
who you are and how you're here to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, on that note, young lady, I think we might bring this to a gentle close.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say thank you very much from chilly Perth for chatting with me this morning, honey. And I
Yes.
so look forward to jumping in to the next conversation of our salty, sagey, stardusty ways of living life.
Thank you,
Have
Keryn.
yourself a good week.
Thank you. And from Chile Longreach, right back at you. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom
Oh,
with me this morning as well. I just loved it. Yeah.
pleasure. Lots of love,
Yeah.
hun. See ya.
Love you. Bye.